Now from the University of Okoboji, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee.
Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast, everybody. I'm Jeff Thee. Welcome to the Man Cave. It is Women of Action Thursday, and I have here with me today the reigning Mrs. Iowa, Lynae Tucker Chellew. And she is also from Okoboji, the Iowa Great Lakes. And Lynae, welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I don't get a lot of royalty here. In the Man Cave, I don't run in royalty anywhere, Lynae, so and I think it's purposeful on their part. But anyway, congratulations for being Mrs. Iowa. That is so cool.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's quite a story when we get there, but I want to start out of kind of your background, where you're from and where you went to school, and finally how you landed here in the Iowa Great Lakes, Lynae.
Yes. Well, I'm from Rapid City, South Dakota originally,
okay.
But I went to college in Chicago, so I went to DePaul University and got a degree in media and communications.
Yeah.
And then decided to come back to my home state of South Dakota for law school, so I went to the University of South Dakota School of Law.
Very good.
And I was very lucky to get a clerkship with the judges in the district that encompasses also Dickinson County.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I came to the Lakes area, was just to come do that one-year contract. But a few months into that contract, I met a very special man, and 4 years later, we're married. We just got married, actually.
You did? When did you get married?
Yes, New Year's Eve.
Oh, you brought in 2022 in big style then, didn't you?
Oh, yes. I mean, royalty has to do that, right?
So you start out, you're a Badlands girl originally.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, and we were talking beforehand, so you went for media and that sort of thing, and you wanted to be the very next
Katie Couric. Yes.
You were going to do the Today Show and all this, and all that kind of stuff.
I was. That was my plan.
Yeah.
And
Now, what changed plans? What made you go from, I don't know about media, maybe law?
honestly, when I was in undergrad, it was kind of that time where we were talking about what was going to happen to print journalism. So it's the newspapers and the magazines, are they going to be around, and transitioning everything to online.
Yeah.
And a lot of our professors were talking to us about how, honestly, there wasn't a lot of longevity in the media, especially in large markets.
Right.
And being that I went to school in Chicago, that was a huge concern for the people in my programs.
Sure.
So I really was still interested in media and doing those things, but I wanted to make sure I had a backup plan. So I called my dad, because that's what everyone does, right?
That's what girls do. They call their dad. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
And he goes, well, you're really good at arguing and you like to write. You might as well take the LSAT and see if you can get into law school.
He found your strong points. Good old dad. You like to argue.
Yes. It was a much longer conversation, but that's my favorite paraphrase.
Yes.
And so I took the LSAT and I scored very well. So I was like, well, I'll just go to law school. I'll go for a year. I'll try it out. That seems to be the theme in my life.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it.
So you came here and then met your husband.
Yes.
And so you're practicing where then?
I'm practicing with Gooseman Law Firm in downtown Spirit Lake. We're on Hill Avenue.
Yeah.
I actually work with Barry Sackett.
Yeah.
So his firm merged with Gooseman Law Firm about a year ago. And so now I'm actually in our Spirit Lake office with Barry as well as Lisa Steffen from Spencer.
Oh, okay. Right.
And Gooseman Law Firm itself, we're one of 4 locations.
Okay.
So there's over 30 attorneys with our firm. And we cover, I want to say 8 states. I would have to double check that. I'm brand new actually with this firm. I've been there for about 60 days.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you're just getting your feet under you there in the law firm and everything.
I am, yes. I practiced for 3 years before that, but I was in Jackson County, Minnesota before that.
Ah, okay. So you didn't have to travel too far to come down to work then here then. Okay.
Exactly, yes.
What are your areas of the areas of law that you specialize in, that you focus on, Lynae?
So I'm a litigator predominantly.
Okay.
I really enjoy being in the courtroom. I actually have a background as a prosecutor, and so I like being in court. But I also do a lot of business law.
Okay.
And so my father is an entrepreneur, and I grew up watching him run his own business, and one of the people he always looked to for advice and support was his lawyer. And so I have always kind of viewed myself as being that small business owner's lawyer and being able to help start to finish running a business.
Yeah, well, and the Iowa Great Lakes is embedded with a great many entrepreneurs, locally owned businesses, and everybody needs advice of doing things the right way, the wrong way, and so you're just waiting for them then at work then.
I am, yeah. I do stay busy, but I definitely have room for the things I'm passionate about, which includes helping local businesses.
Well, let's get to the other passion, because I just happen to notice you're wearing a sash and a crown.
Yes. It's kind of hard to miss that.
So when did you get crowned Mrs. Iowa then?
I officially became Mrs. Iowa on March 1st.
March 1st. Okay,
Yep.
so really very early into your reign then. Really.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. What are we, the 24th? Yeah. So
You're my first appearance.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm honored. I got royalty and it's your first appearance.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the road. Now, is this something, pageants, that you've done previously in your life, and or how did you get here?
Yeah, I started doing pageants when I was 9, actually.
Okay.
I was Little Miss Rapid City.
Oh.
Yes. And I always tell people I got bit by the pageant bug.
Yeah.
I competed all the way through high school, and then I actually was a director for the Miss America organization.
Oh, really?
In Vermillion, South Dakota first.
Okay.
And then I actually ran the Miss Okoboji program here. Unfortunately, COVID kind of put a stop to that program.
It stopped a lot of things, didn't it? Yeah.
But I decided that at that point, since my program wasn't really up and going, that I might as well look for something else to do in the pageant realm.
Okay.
And there's a couple of previous Mrs. Iowas from the Spencer area, and they reached out to me and suggested that I try and compete.
I know Jill very well, so I know one of them that you talked to
Yes.
down there, yeah. So, okay, so you got back, but you had also been Mrs. Dickinson County?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And was that from the fair, or how did you get that?
So as part of the Mrs. Iowa program, you also represent your local community going into the state competition.
That makes sense, sure.
And so I was the representative for Dickinson County, and I actually volunteered at Winter Games this year and sold mugs at the chili cook-off, so you guys probably saw my smiling face.
Absolutely.
I drugged my husband to help me too. He didn't know that he was going to be Mr. Iowa, but here we are.
Congratulations to him too, then. Yes, absolutely. So now how does it work? I mean, what's the process of becoming Mrs. Iowa?
Yes.
What do you, and what's the pageant like, and so forth? And I'm curious.
Yeah, so actually this year was a little bit different. The Mrs. Iowa program was unable to have their competition. We're between directors right now.
Okay.
And so I was actually appointed as an application process, which is very abnormal. But I'm getting ready for Mrs. America.
You're right.
And Mrs. America, it happens in Las Vegas at the Westgate Resort. And Mrs. America is the oldest standing pageant for married women in the country.
All right.
And so we've been at the Westgate Resort a long time at this point.
Okay.
And I'll be competing in evening gown, interview, swimsuit, onstage question. It's a very traditional
I was going to say, all the stuff that
experience.
we're used to seeing from years ago with Burt Parks during the Miss America pageant and so forth, all those things.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. So what's your talent?
I don't have to do talent, thankfully.
You don't have
That's the
to
one that's missing.
So you don't have to sing or dance or recite anything or that sort of thing?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I used to compete as a dancer, and I don't think I could do that if I needed to anymore.
Now, what makes you the most nervous about being up there and out of the different categories you got to compete in?
Oh, that's a hard question. I think I'm nervous about all of it.
I would be, yeah, because you got to wait till August. You're going to be nervous a long time.
Yes.
You got all spring and summer to be nervous about this.
I'll just start preparing. It'll be good. But I think I'm most excited and anxious about the swimsuit competition. It is kind of the paramount competition for a lot of pageantry, and we are a national telecast. So the idea of competing in swimwear is just kind of a unique feeling that I haven't done in a lot of years. I did it in high school, but I haven't since.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
But in Okoboji, we wear swimsuits all the time, so you can just try different ones out during the summer and see what works best for you.
There you go. I'll start taking votes.
Now, in the different pageants, is that maybe one of the areas that girls are the most self-conscious about of the swimsuit or how they look in an evening gown or that sort of thing? Mm-hmm. Is that kind of one that I'm not sure about that? And they may be gorgeous, but they still, have reservations about doing that?
I think less now than it used to be. When I first started directing for the Miss America organization, we still had swimwear.
Right.
Miss America did get rid of that competition.
Right. Yeah,
but
I remember that.
at the time, I was having trouble recruiting candidates because they had to compete in swimwear.
Right.
That being said, over the last few years, there's been other pageantry organizations that also include swimwear, where we've had plus-size women, we've had trans women winning these competitions and realizing that we're looking at health, we're looking at fitness, we're looking at confidence.
Right.
So now I think the conversation is different, and a lot of that comes with the body positivity movements that we're seeing in the media.
Right. And I think that should be applauded.
Yeah.
To look at it that way. Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. So what's the process now? Okay, so you're Mrs. Iowa, you're going to be there at the Westgate in August. So here we are, March 24th. We got till August 2nd. What do you all need to accomplish in the meantime?
Well, first I have to get my paperwork in for Mrs. America. I'm still working on that.
You're a lawyer.
I know. I'm busy serving my clients, not filling out my paperwork.
That's admirable. Yeah, okay.
But beyond that, I also am doing a lot of fundraising. It's not inexpensive to go to these competitions.
Right.
And part of what keeps our program running is I have to raise $1,200 towards an ad page so I can actually advertise who sponsored me.
Sure, right.
But then those funds go directly into the program to keep the program running so that there can be another Mrs. America next year.
Right.
So that's one of my main focuses right now is just getting my fundraising taken care of.
Now, so are you reaching out to people, businesses, and saying, I would, love to have some funds for this, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways we can go about it. Right now I'm doing a sponsorship calendar, so people can sponsor a certain day of the month, and then whatever that day is would be the donation. So April 1 would be $1, all the way up to 30 or 31 depending on the month.
I see, okay.
So I am doing that. I'm also doing a t-shirt fundraiser that is very Mrs. America. It's red, white, and blue, and it says Okoboji on the front, and on the back it says supports Mrs. Iowa.
Yes.
And so I am doing that, and then I am also reaching out to local businesses for their support as well.
Okay. So where can we purchase the t-shirt if we want to purchase one?
I will actually be uploading my link today to the Mrs. America Facebook page.
Okay.
Or the Mrs. Iowa, Facebook page, and you can just go onto that page. There's a link. And go in and buy it there. They're $28.
Okay.
But that $28, the majority of it goes to supporting me.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, and you mentioned local businesses because you'll be doing the hair, the makeup, and your attire and so forth.
Yes.
Are there businesses that specialize in those particular areas that can help you as well with the showing stuff off?
Definitely, yes. So I do have a hair sponsor already, which is Aspasia Salon. Sydney Baumhover is helping me out there.
Yeah.
But then I also am looking for a gym sponsorship, so someone who is willing to work with me to get me ready for that swimsuit competition so I can be my strongest. So personal trainers and gyms can definitely help me out there.
Right.
I'm also actually looking for a tanning sponsor, so that's always an option. And then we have so many local boutiques, and I would love to be able to put shout outs on my social media page and wear their designs and their clothes during my week that I'm there. Because I'm actually there August 11th through the 20th.
Okay.
And every single day we're being videoed, we're being recorded, we're out in public, and I would love to be able to put Okoboji businesses on the forefront of that.
And you can show them off every day then while you're there.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. So do they contact you to do this, or do you reach out to them? Or do they go to a website if they want to get involved in this, or how's it work?
Yeah, it's a combination. Sometimes I reach out to them, sometimes they reach out to me, but you can always find me on social media. I have the Mrs. Iowa Facebook page and Instagram, and then I also have my own personal one. So Instagram is @breadlesslawyer. I actually have celiac disease, so that's kind of the joke about the Instagram handle. But you can also just find me as Lynae Chellew on Facebook, and I'm happy to chat with anybody, tell them about my experience, my program, and also talk to them about sponsorships.
Yeah. Now, do you have any causes or anything that you're passionate about that you talk about during the course of this at all?
Mm-hmm. So I mentioned earlier, I'm a big supporter of entrepreneurs.
Right, okay.
So a lot of what I do is promoting shop local and also just working with business owners to try and get them in the forefront. So I'm very into that. And then also the Mrs. America organization, we sponsor or support Victoria's Voice. So the owners of the Westgate, the Seagulls, their daughter passed away of an opioid overdose.
Yes.
And so they have a mental health related charity called Victoria's Voice that we also fundraise for.
An unfortunate story, but nice to have something that comes out in support of it, therefore. So, yeah.
Yes.
And I also, like I tell you, I've been creeping on you on Facebook. You also do Rover.com.
I do.
Are you passionate about puppies?
Oh, yes. So my husband and I have two. We have a black lab named Cooper and a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel named Mia.
Okay.
And then we are passionate about other people's puppies too. So Rover, we're basically a for-hire dog sitter.
Yeah.
We'll come stay at your house, or you can bring your dogs to us. Our dogs love to play with other dogs, and
I think that's a great thing to do.
it's what we do for our free time.
Oh, well, anything else for the good of the cause here that we need to talk about in your quest to be Mrs. America?
Yes, well, just thank you so much for having me, and I really am looking forward to being out and about, especially this summer, meeting people and really just having the opportunity to talk about the Mrs. Iowa program, the Mrs. America program, and just to get my face and my voice out there more in the area now that I am Mrs. Iowa.
Wonderful, and congratulations again. And it's great to have you from our area and representing our state like this. It's an honor. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming in here, and best of luck as you go through the process here, and certainly when you get out to Las Vegas in August. All right. Lynae Tucker Chellew is here with us today. She is the reigning Mrs. Iowa 2022. Just started the first of the month, so she's fresh into the job. We want to thank her for joining us here today, our Women of Action, and we thank you for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast. Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you in part by the Scott Troutman State Farm Agency in Spirit Lake, Quest Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services, advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. Ducky's Marine and Motorsports Repair in Spirit Lake. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Ruthven Locker at the Lake, where carnivores are welcome on Hill Avenue in Spirit Lake. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji.